Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Shooting Straight with me, as always, Voice of the Forge. As I've said in previous episodes of this, if you wish to contact me with any kind of question you'd like to see me answer, please comment below the video or contact me on the Twitter handle at Voice of the Forge. These are the two places where I can usually be found to be displaying these, although sometimes they will be posted on my personal account on Facebook for those who might be interested in finding me there. However, this is episode 14, and it did look for a while like I wouldn't have anything to talk about because things in certain areas had been quite quiet. After this weekend, though, and the elections that have taken place in the UK, there is a huge amount of fodder which can be linked between Gamergate and the hysterical mainstream media chattering masses, because lo and behold, the same people that hold the gamers in such low regard also regard the democratic process with as much vitriol and bile as they do for people who just want to stay at home and be able to play the video games that they know and love. And why is this? Well, it's the same people. If you look at the UK, the vast majority of people actually slinging mud at the Gamergate outcome, the protest that is Gamergate, is the same paper that has people like Polly Toynbee and others decrying the state of the democratic process with the election of the Tories for another 5 years. And these are people that are turning around and they're using the same language, sort of like evil, bigoted people, vile scum. It doesn't matter what the politics are, it's a direct ad hominem attack at the politicians that have been duly elected. Whether or not you agree with the result, these people have been elected in their local areas via a democratic process where you had 3 or 4 candidates, and in some places as many as 8 or 9, and people have gone into a polling booth, put an X next to their name, and that is the person who had the most amount of X's in that region. The fact of the matter is the fact that the Tories managed to win the most amount of X's in an area 330 times out of 650. Because of the way in which the UK system works, 330 is greater than half. First past the post, they're the ones that managed to get a majority of 326. 326 is a majority whereby they can outvote the rest of the House. Therefore, they have the majority. So to all those who say that the Tories haven't won because they didn't get the most amount of the vote because everybody else voted for others, well, I'm sorry, but if you voted 5 times for the Tory, 3 times for the Lib Dem, and once for the Green, then the other votes don't tally up and go, oh no, you voted for the other people more. The one with the most amount of X's is the one that have won that region. And if you don't like it, I've got 2 questions for you. 1, did you vote? Because if you didn't vote in the area that you're registered, you're part of the problem. And 2, who are you to criticise the electoral democratic process after there was a vote earlier in the coalition to see whether or not the voting should be changed to proportional representation, and that was voted no. That was voted against, which is why we've got the first past the post system. So did you vote against PR then? Well, if not, why not? If that's what you want. And if you didn't vote at all, well, you're part of the problem. I am sick and fed up with people thinking that just because they don't like something, they throw a fucking tantrum and their teddy bear goes sailing through a window. I've had enough. You may have noticed in certain of my talks that I do tend to get quite exercised at times. Well, this is one of them. I watched that election night. I watched everything. I was there for the full 16 hours until such time as it was revealed what the full scale of the vote was. And I'm telling you now, the amount of shock and awe there was from the exit poll when the polls closed at 10 o'clock was unbelievable. Nobody could hear Nobody could understand what had gone on, how the rest of the opinion polls had got it so wrong, and there was no way in hell that the exit poll could be right. Because they didn't want it to be right, because for whatever reason, whatever they understood as being the democratic process, there was no way that the filthy, evil, Tory scum could get into power. And I'm using their words. And where have we heard these words before? Bigoted, anti-women, hated people, people who are privileged and oppressive, and they just want to put certain people down. The language and the rhetoric is identical to that of the social justice warrior when they're talking about Gamergate, and I've had it today. I've looked at the papers, I've been reading them, and it's the same people, it's the same rags that seem to think that they have some kind of special measure to be able to call people what on earth they feel like in order to be able to justify their salaries and their position. And at the end of the day, it is grossly wrong. They are spinning a narrative which is out of kilter to the way in which people obviously felt. Because if people didn't feel the way that they did, they wouldn't have voted the way that they did. And I also, and as I've said about PR just now, Nigel Farage got 4 million votes for UKIP. Third in terms of opposition. Lib Dems got completely wiped out. UKIP is now the third largest party, democratically by vote, in the UK. And if that doesn't tell you something about how disenfranchised people really feel, when 4 million people only get 1 MP, and yet with the Scottish Parliament system, the Scottish MPs, the SNP managed to get 1.5 million votes and got 56 MPs returned. This is where you can see that where you're not careful, where you have constituency boundaries in certain manners, you end up with a gerrymandering of the vote. And I've said this before. Now, people are going to crow about the fact that the Tories are going to be looking to change the constitutional boundaries. And they tried this at the start of the coalition last time in 2010, and the Liberal Democrats, blocked the vote. But what was it looking to do? Because everyone's going to say, they're going to lock Labour out of power. They're going to make sure Labour can't be re-elected. But when you actually look at the constituency boundaries as they stand, there has been an inbuilt electoral imbalance against the Tories in the way in which the boundaries actually are. And all they were trying to do before was to put that boundary system right, so that there wouldn't be that discrepancy. And obviously the Lib Dems blocked that, even though they managed to get their promised vote on the PR on the blocks and undertaken, which is what they wanted in return for this constituency boundary change, and they reneged on that because that's what they felt in their conscience they had to do. And unfortunately, there's a lot of good things that the Lib Dems did, but there was also a lot of crap that they actually dished out. And I'm not sorry that they've actually had a taste of their own medicine for once. You may be able to see where my politics lie, but at the end of the day, I am not someone that votes for ideology. If UKIP turn around and next time there's a vote, they are the people that want little government, people to be able to spend the money in their pocket, to allow people to do business, to be able to turn around and say to Europe, we don't have to stick all of your rules, because, look, we're the only ones that follow them. Just look at the amount that France follow compared to the ones that we follow. Basically we should look at the whole system and go, you know what, we should have a system whereby we have the smallest amount of government possible, we should have the least amount of people poking their noses into everybody's lives. We should all just be left to get on with it, enjoy ourselves when we're enjoying ourselves, work when we work, spend the money that we earn, and try and keep the actual amount that the government costs the country to a respectable level, whilst at the same time keeping us safe from the idiots that felt it was their right to hold an undemocratic riot in central London within hours of the electoral vote. And it's kind of like, hang on, you've defaced the World War II memorial dedicated to women, when some of the most active people in the group are women. You're the ones that are calling the Tories scum and all this, that and the other. Yet, where do you get your money? Who's giving you the wherewithal to survive? Because if you're doing the right, you're certainly not working. And if you are working, you soon lose your job when you go out on the media. And then who's going to pay for you because you've then lost your job because you've been convicted of a criminal offence? Oh look, it's the welfare state. Now, I'm sorry, but when the welfare state was first imagined, it was a security blanket for people that were unable to either work or couldn't find the work, which is when we had work exchanges. Now, we seem to think that poverty is not being able to get certain luxuries, and I was involved the other week in a debate where the motion of the House was that the panel did not have any confidence in the government, and obviously this was taken just before the election, and the idea was that people wanted to see a sea change and everything else. Now, the amount of economic ignorance that there was on the panel was astounding for first belief, and secondly, it was also this belief that poverty is under £16,000. A household income of under £16,000 is poverty. Under £16,000. If you work for 40 hours a week at minimum wage, you don't earn anywhere near that. There are branches of retail shops where the managers of departments are only just beginning to approach that figure. Who came up with this measure of poverty? Poverty is meant to be no food, not no takeout. £16,000. That's more than the average wage of where I live. How have we got to this figure of £16,000 for being poverty? It's ridiculous. The national average wage is meant to be over £20,000. I'm telling you now, to earn £20,000 in the area that I live, you have to have a bloody good job, and you have got to have been there for a number of years. It is not representative as the country as a whole, and yet somehow these figures are held up, and it's no wonder our welfare state is in the state that it's in. Oh look, you've got to have this because otherwise you're under the breadline, because you've got this and you've got that and you've got the other. Now I'm starting to see how so many people have got flat screen TVs that can afford to have KFC every night, and they're ballooning at the waistline because they're not cooking for themselves but eating too much takeout. There isn't such a thing as a paucity of food in some of these areas. It's the fact that too many people smoke, too many people drink, and then they can go to a food bank and get their money. I mean, how many times have we heard reports from people in a food bank turning around and saying, oh yeah, we're getting people driving up in their cars with their mobile phones and all this, that and the other. I've used the food bank exactly twice in my life, and I had no money because I was waiting for benefits, and I'd just been found a place because I was homeless. And I've been homeless twice in my life as well. So for me, the safety net has worked. But I get the bare minimum. And it grieves me greatly when it's kind of like, oh yeah, when you're in our supported housing whilst we find you somewhere to live, we've got to make sure that you've got to be able to have food, that you can cook for yourself, that you can do this and you can do the other. As soon as they find you a flat, that's it. No furnishings, no nothing, you're on your own. And yet, if you've got alcoholic problems, or if you're some kind of crack addict or anything like that, you get money thrown at you left, right and centre. The carpets are laid for you, a full fitted kitchen, the works. I didn't see a penny of that because although I've got the issues that I've got, it was kind of like, yeah, you can carry on your own now, you can sort yourself out, can't you? Great, cheers, thanks. So it's no wonder that we're in the state that we're in when we pander to certain kinds of lifestyles and we wonder why people then turn round and take the piss. If we had a system whereby you didn't get benefits but you got your rent paid for you, you got a certain amount of credit towards your electricity and your gas, and that was paid direct, and you don't see that cash, that goes direct to the suppliers, and then the rest of the money that you would have got, you hand in at somewhere like the co-op or elsewhere, and you have a certain amount of food made available to you for a certain price, so that you're fed, you're watered, you've got your security, and you've got some modicum of entertainment, But whatever money you've got, you've managed to accrue it from elsewhere, because you're not getting money from the government. The money is going straight to the people that actually need it, like the landlord or the council, if you're a council tenant, straight to the shops, and you're not allowed to buy booze, and you're not allowed to buy fags. Food banks would be out of business overnight. And I tell you what, there would be a hell of an outcry. Oh, you're taking away my right to do this, and you're taking away my right to do that. You've got no right if you're on welfare. If you're on welfare, you're being looked after by the taxpayer. If you're being looked after by the taxpayer, that means the taxpayer can say what you're spending the money on. And I take issue with some of these food banks, because I want to know where the money's going. If you look at the business model for the Trussell Trust, all the food that gets donated, the food is donated. They're not paying for this. The people running the food banks for the Trussell Trust are paying the Trussell Trust hundreds of thousands of pounds a year. Where's that money going? I want to know what kind of business model that the Trussell Trust has, because to me, I think it's taking the good old public for a jolly old ride, because it's getting plaudits for being the one that's supplying the people for the food banks, even though it's not supplying the food itself. It's supplying the people. The people are volunteers, so they're not paying people to be the ones running the food bank. It's the volunteers paying them. Okay, so there's a headquarters that are doing X, Y, and Z. So where's the money going on that? Is it going on a swanky headquarters? Because that's not going to help people. Is it going for the big wig at the top, like we've had with who was it? The British Art Foundation, Oxfam, and some of the others, where they were paying their bigwigs some horrendous salaries at sort of like six figures, and yet they're still begging for money off everybody else, and they're running the shops. I mean, that's another thing that exercises me greatly, is the amount of charity shops that you see in towns, because they don't pay the council tax and they get swinging great relief on the rent as well. And then they've got the gall to charge you as much as you'd be charged in a normal shop. I digress. This week has been horrendous, and it is finally coming home to roost that we have an ideological set of people in charge of mainstream media and elsewhere which obviously hate another section of society. And if you don't follow what they want you to follow, they are going to howl and scream and kick off like nobody's business. Tell me once more who's the hate group. Tell me once more who it is that is going around and making people feel threatened in today's society. Because it isn't the howling lynch mob of gamers that are sat in their homes quite happily playing with their controllers and just want to be left alone to play the games that they love. Oh no. It's the people that want to control them and want to control the democratic process, who want to be in full authoritarian control, because if they don't agree with you, it's banned. If they don't want it, bye-bye. This is what we're seeing, and we're seeing it now start to rear its ugly head more and more in the UK. And if we're seeing it in the UK, you can bet your bottom dollar it's at least double as bad in America. And if we're starting to see it in the UK, it's going to spread like wildfire all the rest of the way through Europe. And where it spreads through the Western world, and it's no longer a first world problem, it'll become a second world problem. And then it'll be game over, because as soon as the second world and the third world start having these issues, you can guarantee it's going to be a big, bloody mess. I thank you once more for listening. Again, if you want to take issue with anything that I've said, and I dare say, because the first way to cause an argument is to talk about politics, please feel free to leave a comment underneath the video, or to contact me directly at Twitter. I have, as always, at Voice of the Forge, and I have been shooting from the lip, and I hope to hear from you, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you once more, and goodbye.